we look at sort of AI machine learning, in terms of a four-step process. We've got our training data on the left. We've got our models that are trained based on that data. We've got inference results, and we've got the validations of those results. So, how do we trust a model? How do we trust what it's telling us? Well, we have to validate those results, right, with non-AI machine learning methods. And but the validations of those results are something that takes a lot of work. And we can share validations of results just like we can share training data. And in sharing validations, we can collectively learn to trust AI machine learning a lot faster than if we go at it alone, like one organization alone. So on the left-hand side, training data can come from multiple organizations facilitated by blockchain. Imagine, you have a use case in blockchain where you've got a group of healthcare providers, and each one, as it acquires new data, can put some metadata on the blockchain about what data they have, and a pointer. Where does that data reside? What provider, etc. Hash code to verify its integrity. The rest of the provider network can then search that blockchain, see, oh, there's this data that I need for this model I'm building, facilitate the secure exchange of that data to facilitate, training that model. It might be a model targeted at a very specific, patient condition. And so that ability to search across sort of the union of all data in the consortium is a much more powerful than sourcing that data just from one silo in one organization. Blockchain is also really well suited to track things like provenance. So if you have provenance information about your data, that can be on blockchain, and you can use that to filter out the highest quality data to train models and thereby improve the quality of the models as well, and the quality of the inference and lower error rates. If you happen to have a problem with a biased model, you can look back at the provenance, what data was used to train this model. So the blockchain can store audit information, what data went into what model. And if you have a problem with a model, if it's biased, you can go back and see, okay, this is the data, and root out the data that's causing the bias, and improve your model that way. The blockchain can have both on and off chain data. So sometimes the data is on chain, but oftentimes healthcare data will be off the blockchain. So it'll just be metadata that's going on the blockchain, and it's referencing, it's pointing to off-chain sort of secure access controlled repositories for that data. And obviously the AI machine learning can either run directly on the data on the blockchain, or it can be used to, you can train AI machine learning using data that is referenced by the blockchain and retrieved separately. Sometimes, there's impediments to sharing data. It's also possible to pass the model around organizations and train it incrementally within each organization, kind of like pass the football. Each organization trains the model sort of incrementally and passes the model around, not the root data. And in that way, you can get around some of the impediments with sharing the actual training data. The blockchain can be used to protect the integrity of the models. You can take hash codes of models and put those on blockchain and verify the integrity of models, to prevent people from tinkering with models, unauthorized modification of models. We talked about shared models. You can incent collaboration over blockchain with cryptocurrencies and tokens. So if you want to incent the collaboration to advance AI and machine learning, you can do that via blockchain. So incenting sharing of training data, incenting training of models, and incenting the sharing of inference results and the validations of those results. So I think that just about covers it. There's also a very different use case here so we talked about how you can put executable code on the blockchain in the form of smart contracts. There is the idea of smart contracts being powered by AI machine learning, and even what's called DAOs, or distributed or decentralized autonomous organizations, being powered by AI machine learning. So that's where blockchain could use or call out to AI machine learning to help with its sort of execution. But as you can see, there's a ton of opportunity around advancing AI and machine learning with blockchain, and it's all about advancing it faster as a consortium, a collaboration of multiple healthcare organizations rather than going at it alone. And that's really where the sweet spot of where blockchain can add value. if you want to know what you can do today, there's a pretty handy healthcare blueprint for AI that you can download. It also goes into some of the compliance things with HIPAA, HITRUST. But you can download it from that link there, and it's actually not just documentation. You can actually run that. You can run that in Microsoft Azure today, and you can, of course, understand the components. It deals with the patient length of stay prediction, but that provides you a baseline that you can then customize to whatever the use case you have in mind for AI machine learning for your healthcare organization. We have this Azure Blockchain Workbench. So this is a rapid prototyping environment. If you have a particular use case in mind for blockchain for healthcare, or any industry, you can go in there and you can prototype the blockchain sort of artifacts that you can then deploy to Ethereum Enterprise and soon Hyperledger Fabric and R3 Corda, running in Azure. Again, a lot easier to spin up blockchain nodes in the cloud. But you can get going with your pilot a lot faster and focus on piloting and sort of learning and evolving your blockchain rather than the technology. So that link there, you can go and see the Azure Blockchain Workbench. Lots of good information there about how to get started. There's a ton of activity on social media. Feel free to reach out to me. These two subjects are evolving super quickly, and so it's not really something you go pick up a textbook. If you want the latest information, I encourage you to reach out on social media, or you can shoot me an email. My email address is there.